Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am once again Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with my guest today, Logan Walton. Logan, how are you today?
Doing good. How are you doing today, Nick?
Doing great. So, Logan, you've been a friend of mine for a while, and you are now getting into local politics. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
LD8, Local District 8, here in Arizona, covers Tempe, South Scottsdale, and a little bit of Phoenix. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit of Phoenix, a little bit of Mesa coming up towards the reservation side of it on the 202 there.
Mm-hmm. And you're running for that in 2026.
Yep, coming up here.
When can people vote for you?
So if currently I don't have anybty running against me in the primary for the Republican Party.
So you're just a shoe-in.
Well,
there you go.
Not
Sorry,
necessarily a shoe-in. A little bit of, we're good. We're good. Ignore. Not a shoe-in. I just don't have to have anybody vote for me in July. Currently, there's no other Republican running. I am running against a Democratic opponent who is an incumbent. She first-time senator this time around, so she'll have 2 years under her belt working as a state senator. And then I'm running against her, and we'll be able to vote for me then in November of next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Because this thing we have here at Empire, it's a place called Empire Scottsdale. It's where we're at right now. Logan happens to be a frequent visitor of this place, and I met a lot of local politicians here, which is kind of wild to me. But I met the mayor of Scottsdale here. I met Justin back when he ran for a similar position.
Yeah, right.
He was city council.
Yep.
But I had a friend of my dad who was local district over on the West Valley. I think it was LD19, and it was Avondale. And he came on the podcast last year. He was writing a book, so he wanted to talk all about his book and all his experience being in state senator. So what's it going to be like for you as a first time running for this kind of thing?
It's very grassroots right now. I'm not running clean elections, which if you don't know what clean election is, it's basically the state will give you money to run for local politics. Now you have to show that you can get a certain amount of donations by a certain amount of people, and then you can file that in, and the state will give you money to run because you actually show that you have some backups. I'm running traditional, which means I have the option to get outside money or get larger donations, and I'm not limited as much, which means I have to do more door knocking than everybody else. So very much
you have to hustle.
A brute force campaign, pretty much, yeah. And just hitting the ground. I've been out in the valley now for almost 12 years. I've worked in the hospitality industry for 8 of those years, so I've met close to 2,000 people a week every day working in those industries, and hoping that people resonate with me and that we get to make some changes here in Arizona, and hopefully for the betterment of all Arizonans.
Well, it's good to have younger people in politics too, because I think especially local politics, it's something you do when you're done with your career and you're like, oh, I can do this now. I made enough money. I'm okay to do this, but that changes your perspective because you're thinking like an older person. Whereas to get a younger person on board, I think that's so cool because that really affects us a lot more than the people who are towards the end of their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, my opponent, she'll be almost 70 coming into this election. I will be turning 30 in February, so I think it means a lot to have a person that's actually closer to the demographics of the voting class that's in that district. Like our district, 64% of them are 18 to 34. And that's majority of them are renters, majority of them are college students or post-college students.
Right, especially South Scottsdale, North Tempe, yeah.
So it's people that are working to try to get a family, build a career. And I resonate with that. I mean, I've worked, I remember 80-hour work weeks during college and stuff like that, and still a renter, still paying off my own student loans. So I definitely feel what it's like to be an actual resident here, and as in this district specifically, and not only that, but to help put together infrastructure and vote on different legislation that'll help improve the lives of Arizonans across the entire state, not just the district itself.
Those 80-hour work weeks haven't stopped for me, but that's the life I chose.
Absolutely.
So what's your, what would you say is the number one issue for you? What's the one thing you want to change the most?
Well, one thing for me that I think resonates a lot is our education system out here in Arizona is not the greatest. I think we rank pretty close to last in a lot of the categories, but we actually rank some of the highest in terms of growth. Post-secondary education for us is very, very strong. All of our college students, U of A, ASU, Arizona Christian University, we have a very strong base for students after they get out of high school. But that's for the students that are good in the classroom. We don't do anything for students to be good in life. So I want to work on bringing back trades. I want to work on bringing in not only a larger classroom setting, but bringing more teachers per class, so that it's not one teacher per 30 students. You get 3 to 4 to 5 teachers per 100 students. Larger classroom setting. So trying to be more innovative on the idea of how do we get students to not just be great students, but be able to leave the classroom enjoying the workforce, so that they can build financial wealth responsibly, and just overall have a better output on life and different outcomes than what we're seeing today from our youth.
It's crazy. You have impact on the education system as a state senator.
We have the options to vote on something across the entire state. I want to work with most of the school boards to get implemented quickly and faster. And as we work on getting different bonds voted on, if we're going to build new buildings and build new infrastructure for these schools, let's start developing classroom styles that'll actually benefit the majority of students. One thing that I noticed, especially when I was going through high school, is that when you bring in a substitute teacher as a student, you rejoice because you know that you're not working that day. You're not having to worry about it because the substitute doesn't know what the curriculum is outside of like the brief summary the main teacher gives. But if you had imagine if you had 3 or 4 teachers that were there every day, so that a teacher could be sick. They have the opportunity to take care of their family, handle their health, and not worry that the curriculum's getting waited on because they're not there that day. And I'm sure we've all felt that way in our own work. We don't want to put a day off of work because we want to provide the best for the clients that we serve and everything like that. It's same for the teachers. They don't take days off. They don't want to be sick, but sometimes nature calls, and you got to put yourself out of the classroom. But we don't want to hinder our students. We want to make sure that the next teacher that's in that classroom every day picks up from there and carries it on. So I want to eliminate the idea of substitute teachers and make these substitutes become more full time and academically helping these students for the next generation.
That's super cool. One thing I loved when I was growing up here was Gilbert Chandler had year-round schools. So it was like a 6-week summer, but then fall, winter, spring, we'd have a really long break, like 3 weeks. So it was more spread out throughout the year. And I thought that was so perfect for Arizona because no one wants to be outside in the summer.
Yeah.
You just don't. Summer here sucks.
No, it's not, for sure.
So you want those long vacations in the fun parts of the year. And we got that in Gilbert and Chandler, but I've noticed since coming back, Scottsdale doesn't have that, Phoenix doesn't have that, Tempe doesn't have that. It's really just a Gilbert Chandler thing. And I don't know, that's just a suggestion. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, I think having a shorter breaks while still having those longer breaks so that the students can get a restart, actually start enjoying life. But I like the idea of a year-long school system, but I think I like the idea better of if we're going to do it year-long, let's start implementing trades back in school. Let's put funding back into not an archaic curriculum system that you and I both went to high school in and learned, but the stuff we learn, the kids are still learning today.
The only stuff I use from my high school is my weight training class. So literally also history. So World War II history and weight training. Only things I use from high school in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, I use some arithmetic if it's not through the calculator or anything like that.
Yeah, I have a phone in my pocket.
But yeah, I want to bring in stuff that actually makes students more handy for themselves. The plumbing, the electrical, the woodworking. These are all skills that are still valuable today. We've just not put as much precedence in them. But with the rise of AI and all the technology that's going to soon follow all that, I feel like these trades are going to come in and be a lot more useful. Like you see, I know people that went into the plumbing and electrical that are making 6 figures, and they never spent another day in the classroom outside of high school, which is amazing. That's what we want. That's part of the American dream, is that you have choices. It should each avenue you go down should lead to a prosperity in the life here. That's what the whole point of the American dream. And I feel like we've subverted that because we wanted to do something different originally with the curriculum, and which was we saw trades going out of the way because things were starting to become better in sort of those fields. And now we're noticing that with the growth of industry, especially in Arizona, all the buildings, everything that's going on, we need all these guys here. We need more every day. And so hopefully we, as Arizonans, see that and want to put that into implementation so that students aren't just good students, they're good workers, good citizens, good people, good neighbors. We just want to keep building on an amazing society that we have here in Arizona that is very unique compared to the rest of the United States.
Definitely, definitely. And we just had some raindrops hit the couch. It is raining in Arizona right now, people. So this is one rare situation where we have rain in AZ. So that's super cool, focusing on education, building people. My brother's kids were just talking the other day, and they're my parents, their grandparents, were very proud that they tested very high on math, but they have iPhones in their pockets. That's not a skill they're going to use in the real world. That is a skill that only benefits them in their classroom and you know, if they want to be like super, you know, mathematicians or whatever, great, keep doing that. You know, there is value in doing things that you love. I don't think they love that.
Yeah, it's about building pathways, and
Yeah.
if that's somebody's pathways that they see themselves going down the more scientific and arithmetic route because they're going to be engineers, they're going to be, you know, working for NASA or trying to get into the tech field and everything like that, then yeah, those are the ways that those students should go. But there should be other pathways that students that say are not as strong in those fields get to go actually tap into something that they have a strength, potentially find the strength in, and again, it's about giving students options.
Yes.
And it's not about hindering them, it's not about taking away from them, it's about adding on and making more. Because the more that there is, we actually will get, more diversity there is in choices, the better people we will get for each of those choices. Because it's going to be the most passionate, it's going to be the people that are the hardest working for those, and then you get the best version of those workers for those field choices.
Now, you're all about the kids, it sounds like. You want to help the kiddos.
Yeah, very much, very much. I'm very, very attached to making sure that the youth is successful. I see a lot of financial anxiety from kids that are coming up. When I first moved here in Arizona, I was at ASU as a freshman and sophomore. I coached basketball at Tempe High School, and I got to see a lot more.
He's actually really good, by the way. His wingspan is insane. Don't try and shoot over this guy.
Very humbly, yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's so I got to see a different culture, different lifestyle for than what I grew up doing. Like I had the option of having a bus route come to my house, near my house and stuff. A lot of these kids I remember picking up to take to school and stuff like that. Like, so we're hurting a lot of the youth that are in these areas because we're not giving them A, access for transportation, B, making it where the school is actually benefiting them. Like they're coming into school, they're getting in trouble because they're not learning anything they're interested in. We need to start making sure that we're teaching subjects that are interesting and that can be implicated in the real world outside of the school walls. And I currently haven't seen that in the last several years, especially in Arizona. I think we're trying some things. I know Mesa High School and the school district out there is trying some more unique, different things, but it's we're very far off from where we should be.
I agree. And is there any other topics that you're focusing on?
I would say there's two. One is affordable housing, but more in the fact of that, you know, as you as a realtor, you probably understand even better than I do how hard it is to build condominiums here in Arizona.
Yeah, that might be something that I don't even know if you would be able to change as a state senator. It's really the liability laws for developers who build condos. So they have 8 years where they can get sued and they're just going to lose if there are any defects within 8 years. And 8 years, that's a long time, right? If you build a house, you buy a brand new house, they might give you a 1-year warranty. 1 year, right? They're not going to give you an 8-year warranty. So there's a lot of red tape for developers who build condos. And I personally live in a condo. I love condos, especially for a single guy. I don't have kids. That's the lifestyle I need. I don't have to worry about fixing things. I don't take care of stuff. It's very easy. But they can only build luxury condominiums for that reason because they need to sell them for a certain price to make it make sense, right?
And that's what I say is that there is some points in there that I think that we can limit the length of time that we need to hold these insurances and stuff available for this so that we build more of those. Because, you know, as somebody who owns your condo, do you feel more invested in your community because you own it? And
100%. It was a business expense for me. Like, I probably would not own my condo if I weren't a real estate broker. But I want to be invested in the community. I want to meet the people. I want to get involved because that's where a lot of business comes from.
And that's exactly what I feel like is the issue with the amount of apartment complexes coming up is that it's more people that are not invested in the state, not invested in the areas they're in. They're either gone, and most of those contracts are either 8 months, 12 months, max 16 months that we usually see from most of them. And I want people that are going to be invested in here 5-10 years from now. Like you want people that live here, enjoy here, that are going to be part of the community, faces you recognize coming in. And while having people that live in the apartments are great, it adds different cultures to the communities and stuff. I want to see more people investing in here and not being pushed out just because there's a different apartment complex that's offering a better rate outside of the city and stuff like that. Because that changes the whole demographic of the walkability, the things that we get to do out here. And the more that people own, the more invested they are in the space. And I think that's one of my main things. So if I were to get into the office, that'd be one of the things I would do is limit the amount of red tape it is for condominium builders because I want people to invest in Arizona, not just live in Arizona.
And how would you be able to do that as a state senator?
One is we're putting in legislation that removes some of these red tapes, and then working with city ordinances and some of at the city level to kind of push more of state laws onto this, so that these cities aren't handcuffing builders. I understand that we have a water issue. And that there's some concerns about that you have to have, when you're building, you have to promise 100 years.
I don't think your district would actually have issues with that. There are certain locations within Arizona where you're right, that 100-year thing is a big hurdle. I don't think it's an issue in your district. Like, there is guaranteed 100 years of water in those central areas, but it's more red tape for the developer to go through. So it's easier to build apartments.
Yeah. And for Tempe, like you notice, there's more high rises going up because they can't go out anymore.
Yeah.
They're already boxed in. So I want to see more condominium high rise. I want people to invest in Tempe, because right now it's college students, renters. Most of them phase out and they go to Gilbert, Chandler, back home to their states that they came from. We want it to where this is not a part-time place for them anymore. We want this to be a full-time spot for everybody to come in. We have our snowbirds, we have our college students, but I want them to, as they leave out of school or start fully retiring, that this is the place that they live and this is the place they invest in, they call home, and the better we do in making sure that we have more people that are financially or equitably invested in the space, the better the whole community is as a whole.
I like that. We were just talking about this before we started this. Someone asked me, why is downtown Phoenix so empty? And it's because they built all apartments. There's more apartments being built downtown Phoenix than anywhere in the country except for New York City. But we don't need that many renters here in Phoenix. Like, most people here in Phoenix own their homes, not rent. So building all those rentals, it's not really meeting supply. It's just, well, it's easier to build apartments than to build homes for sale.
Yeah.
That's just the only reason.
Yeah, lower risk, higher, similar rewards all the way, so that makes sense. But ideally, just working with, a lot of the different contractors and stuff out there and the builders themselves, finding out what red tape is really hurting them and doing more deep dives into where can we cut back and where can we okay, hey, this actually still needs to stay here for now. I'm not going in with a butcher knife and just chopping away at things. I want it to be a scalpel where we go, okay, let's thinly slice this here, make the adjustment here, see how it does over the course of a quarter or two, and we see some of the results, and then we slice back a little more and make it to where it's not this shock and awe factor. I want it to be where people can get comfortable with the idea of this happening. It's about building trust with the community, especially with the builders. We know that most people have issues with their apartment complex builders, and same thing with home builders, as we've seen out in like Florence and some of the other far outside like Casa Grande, where some of the ghost towns are, and that they're coming back and seeing that they just built it cheaply and poorly. I want to make sure that while we're pulling back some of the red tape, that we're still holding our builders accountable in the same process.
It's funny, Lisa, she did one of these podcasts with me. Check it out. I think it was episode like 16 or something. She was a lawyer, and she sued builders for faulty apartments. There was one big builder out here, I'm not going to name them, but she was involved in a case where they just weren't putting insulation in the homes. Kind of need insulation when you have air conditioning, which we do in Arizona, because it gets hot. So, yeah, that was something that she was involved in, and that was a big point of hers too.
Yeah.
You still have to hold them accountable.
Yep. Everybody needs to make sure that they're doing their part and doing good by people, and that's majority of what I want to run. I want to do put my work ethic in and do good by people. Not just good for myself, not good for the people that are backing me, but good for even the people that don't back me or don't vote for me. It's here for everybody. And while, certain policies people may disagree with, the goal is that down the line they benefit everyone down the line. And then my last part that I think I've been focused on is our energy structure. We've been heavily focused, especially our current senator in our district is very heavily focused on sustainable energy, your wind and your solar. I have personal issues with wind and solar because I haven't seen enough innovation in the last, 10, 15 years that we've had the option for both.
Solar's not cheap. As it gets more economical, I think it is the answer for Arizona, but it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and it takes up a ton of space. Like you're talking acres. The same thing with the wind farms. The same thing with the time to build those out and different things like that. My personal preference is nuclear energy. And now when everybody thinks nuclear, they think Chernobyl, they think explosions, things like that. But like most nuclear plants don't operate at a high enough breakdown of the actual uranium to have explosives from it. You have some fallout, you have some different things from that, but most of the stuff that's contained within it, we have processed for. We have one of the biggest nuclear sites here in Arizona itself, and there's been innovation behind it. Mainly because war has made it where those are the weapons of now. We've made them smaller and better. Same thing. We can have a smaller, better version of bringing in energy into Arizona than taking massive acres. So, I mean, the building we're in now is 8,000 square feet. You could fit a power plant in the middle of the desert and do the same thing, provide so much energy to the grid, as well as allow us to even sell it to our neighbors and stuff like that, to where we can use some of that surplus to back some of the water rights, buy off some more water from the Colorado River, even though California abuses it so much for agriculture. And then our own agriculture is that we use a ton of our water for agriculture.
Almost all of it.
Yeah, like 80%, I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, I think the last stat I read was 74% of Arizona's water goes to agriculture and farming.
And then, and the only uses that they've been looking at has been like using like wastewater and like trying to treat that. Then you got the issues of what does that look like? How is it getting treated? But it all comes back down to the same thing as innovation. It's like as there's innovation, that's where I want to invest in. Right now, nuclear is showing there's a lot of innovation that they are getting smaller, they're getting stronger, they're getting better, they provide more energy, and it's less harmful to the surrounding environment around it. And it provides us not only with just enough energy, it provides us with more than enough energy so that we can continue to scale with the amount of people that are coming into the state. Because I don't think we're changing how many people are coming in here anytime soon. Arizona's beautiful. I see more people coming in here now.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I took it for granted. I grew up here. I was like, oh, it's just sunny all the time everywhere. It's like, it must be like this everywhere. I went to New York. It's great. Great new experience. After like 5 years, like, oh shit, it's going to be dark for 4 months. I'm not going to see the sun. I'm going to be pale. Gross.
Yep. I came from something very similar. I originally grew up just out in Beaverton, Oregon, just outside of Portland, and you would have weeks of just muggy weather, rain, sleet.
Like we got right now.
Yeah, every day. It just feels dark, and while it is beautiful, while Oregon is still beautiful during the summertime for a lot of the trips, the camping trips and lakes and rivers they have out there, it is a very hard life to live when you feel like there's nothing to do because of the rain. Whereas we have the opposite problem where there's too much to do here now, and it's sunny every day, so we have to find something to do. Yes,
except for today.
Yeah, except for today. And then yes, it's hot, but we have AC from our car, AC to the places. There's plenty of watering holes. Most people's homes have pools or the apartment complexes, and just there's a lot of activity. Everybody's always trying to do something out here, and I think that's the beauty of it. Is there nobody's okay with sitting still.
I'm big on Twitter. This is going to sound nerdy, but I'm big on Twitter. And sometimes I get into arguments with random people on the internet.
Now, right?
X, yeah. X. Sometimes I get into arguments with random people on the internet. Like, so you'll see people say, like, they've obviously never been to Arizona. Like, oh, you can't even go outside in Arizona. Well, like, if you live in Arizona, you go outside more than pretty much anyone anywhere in the country, except for maybe Southern California. Like, we're probably equal with them. But, like, we just can go outside all the time because it is beautiful and sunny outside.
Yeah, and if you want a little more cooler weather, Flagstaff is 2 hours away. Also the snowiest city in the United States. I didn't know that until a couple years ago.
Snowiest big city.
Snowiest big city, excuse me. Yes. But yeah, didn't know that for the longest time. Prior to moving here, I thought Arizona was just one giant desert. Didn't know Flagstaff existed.
Most people don't. Yeah. Actually, only about 50% of Arizona is a desert. The rest is like all mountains and snow. Yeah, which is kind of wild.
It's a very unique area. It's very beautiful. But I kind of remember it a little because we have Washington above Oregon, so they have the mountain ranges that go through there, and then you have the west side, and then where Washington University is all the desert because all the water rains as it goes over the clouds, and then when it drops down into it's all dry, humid air, and so we're kind of we have a similar effect here. But it's a beautiful state, and I've enjoyed living out here for almost a dozen years and wouldn't change it anytime near soon.
And he's committed. He's staying. That's why he's running for LD19.
LD8.
LD8, excuse me. LD19 was Lorenzo.
Was Lorenzo, yes.
By the way, did you talk to him?
We talked for a little bit, yes. He was amazing, awesome dude. Gave a lot of insight. It was very quick, only about 5 or 6 minutes, just because he had his own stuff going on with the book sale and everything like that. Well, yeah, I'm sure I'll touch base with him again here soon, but he had a lot to offer. So it was,
that's super cool.
He's a super awesome dude and really interesting backstory on him. So
and we are not partisan here, by the way. Lorenzo ran as a Democrat. Logan ran as Republican. So we are just here looking for good people. It's not about one or the other.
Yeah, I'm as much as I run on my conservative values, I'm way okay with talking to people on the other side of the aisle. I think building perspective is key. Hearing where they come from and where their point of views are is great because it allows us to push honest legislation forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all people at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You can't put labels on every single thing.
Everybody's your neighbor. Everybody's your friend. You know, you can have disagreements with people. I disagree with my siblings all the time. I've got a twin brother and an older sister. We bat heads all the time. But it's about, at the end of the day, coming together, understand that the common purpose is that we want good for all Arizonans, all Americans, and that, you know, we just have different ideas of what that path looks like to get there. And now we need to find a way to look at both of those paths and find where can we use from each of those to get there without, you know, totally ruining our political careers in the process.
Peace and love, everybody. You heard it from Logan first.
Yeah.
Logan, you got anything else for us today?
No, honestly, just go Devils as they go into the football season. I see our Mercury are barely hanging on by a thread, but
So I actually watched the game last night.
it's been really good basketball.
It was actually,
been really good
like, I was
basketball.
actually cheering for a WNBA game,
It's-
which is, I never expected I would do that.
I didn't expect after losing like our three biggest marketing stars in Diana Taurasi, Sophie Cunningham, and
Sophie Cunningham played for the Mercury?
Sophie Cunningham played for the Mercury up until last
What?
year. She's now on the Fever. And then we have
I missed this?
And Brittany Griner. Now she's on the Dream. Diana's
Very good.
retired. And then, but yeah, I had the opportunity to play on their practice squad the last 2 years. So I got to meet Sophie, Diana.
Were you one of those guys in the videos who, like, guards them during practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guarded Brittany.
I guarded Brittany.
She crushed me in the post.
Are there clips of this? Can I see this?
No, they don't have it. There's no clips.
Please,
No,
come on.
no. We weren't
Come
allowed-
on.
Phones weren't allowed in.
How have I seen the videos then? Because I've seen those practices where, like, the guys are guarding them and they're just like,
You know,
shoot over 'em.
some people were able to get some. I definitely didn't.
I'm looking on the internet. I'm looking Logan Walton, Brittany Grimer. Like, I'm
dude,
scouring.
You're
this
gonna
shit.
see her drop step layup, hook shot. You're gonna see her absolutely destroy me.
I mean, she is taller than you, though.
She's a phenomenal post player.
Yeah.
Too. Like just the footwork and the
Yeah.
skill that she has is insane. And you know, I've got mad respect for not only her game but as an individual. A super nice person. 1st one in to come shake everybody's hand, say hello. You know, and same with the rest of the team. Like it was honestly a great experience. Now they are competitive. They
professionals.
they put the work. They make you work for it. They make you earn every shot. They talk trash. They do. It's a lot of fun. I honestly had a lot of fun working with the Mercury, and unfortunately now with more involved with this stuff now, it takes a little more time away from it. But it was a fun excuse to go play basketball with some very professional individuals.
What's the meanest trash talk Sophie Cunningham ever gave you?
Oh, dude, she just literally just stepped away from me and let me shoot a three. It was the lack of trash talk.
That was, okay.
It was more the
That's
disrespect.
props.
The disrespect.
That's props,
no,
dude.
props to her. I did miss it when she did do it. No, I didn't miss it by a lot. But yeah, she. They know how to have a good time, and it's just it's very unfortunate.
I respect that, Sophie.
It's very unfortunate I didn't get an opportunity to continue into this season to see how the new team is doing, but it seems like they're just firing all cylinders. Now, hopefully they don't get swept here in this next week. I really wish they can do a reverse sweep and turn it around, but I mean, what a season for them. It's been great.
That's awesome. Yeah. Logan Walton, everybody. Catch this man on the basketball court, and also LD8 elections next year. I'm Nick El-Tawil. Thanks for watching.